Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful 26th of May, 2020. Coming up on this podcast, I'll be discussing the whole contact tracing app and other government foul-ups. All that and more coming up on the CRUSTYCANUCK podcast. Stay tuned.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. A beautiful 26 May 2020. And before we start, I'd just like to say I lost one of my sponsors due to a little bit of differences. No worries, though. I'm good to go. But there'll be a message from my other sponsor later in the show. And as the title said, contact tracing. So I'll sum it up for you. Basically, it is an app that the government, in cahoots with Apple and Google, are trying to make to put on our cell phones so they can track and trace possible BeerBug. Interesting. Think about that for a second. You know, they strongly recommend that we get into this app, and I'll have a recording of Justin's exact words there in a moment. But let's ponder this question here for you. Do you want government to get their hands on your personal data and information? Now, Michelle Rempel, part of the opposition, a conservative, she made a statement about that, and I'll leave her video in the description as well. But I don't know what to think, really. This past month has been a real shit show in regards to politics and who's leading us down the beaten path. First, they ban all these guns out of fear. Right? Then they promote their raises as it's a God-given right for them to get all the money. And now they're promoting CERB benefits to individuals that work for additional parties. So which is it? Are they looking after Canadian interests? Or it's power? I think it's power, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, it's all power. Right? It has nothing else to do with governing or protecting us, you know. You've heard me say time and time again on this podcast how many doctors and how many so-called experts have weighed in regards to what we are doing. No mask, bring our mask. You know, don't wear gloves, wear gloves. Don't wash your hands, wash your hands. Don't worry, do this, say that. Don't be saying this because that's racist. Don't be saying that because that's sexist. And yet, simple rights and simple liberties have been compromised all month. Excuse me. You've seen the footage that I've put on my other podcasts in regards to Bill 10 here in Alberta. You know, health and safety powers, all those other acts and regulations that just come off the cuff. You know, people being ticketed for going to the park. People being ticketed for minding their business. It's getting ridiculous, folks. So what are we getting into here? Anyway, you tell me, CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. Or you can find me on Facebook under CrustyCanuck and on the Instagram at Canuck Crusty. Right. I also have a Twitter feed too, so use that link if you like. And in other news as well, last week's video that I put up in regards to the vaccine and everything that they're developing, the powers that be figured they'd take the video down, but they never gave me a concrete reason why. Now, for some of you might have seen it. I had to say on my Facebook page that the video is down. And then after a couple of protests, the video was magically put up again. So not only are we going to be censored, they want us to be tracked too. So it's pretty self-explanatory, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting it up the chuff. Right? We're getting it up the chuff. You know, it's... I've had a lot of people weigh in on my other videos in the comment section too. Revolution. Start a revolution. And like I said in my last week's episode, folks, I don't want to use violence. I've seen enough of it. But it seems like every day and every week we're getting closer and closer to some kind of ultimatum where I honestly think something bad might happen. Right? So you want to demand that I put some kind of application in my phone based on the Google and Apple technologies in cahoots with our federal government. Yet our federal government's been in cahoots with the mainstream media ever since 2015. Right? So there's all this magical money to go around to help this and help that, yet there's not enough money to go around to help blue-collar Canadians. Even today on Justin's, his daily briefing that he gets from his cottage, right? He's saying, we're going to help seniors and we're going to do all these wonderful things. And I guess that $500 realizes it's just not enough, right? And we have to look after the greatest generation. And yet now, it's funny how it takes a catastrophe like this BeerBug, which really has a very, very low percentile of casualties, compared to the other pandemics that have come and gone over the past 15 years. But, people get sick, people are getting hurt, and it's affecting the elderly especially. So it's funny how it takes a pandemic of some sort for our government to actually smarten up and start saying beautiful things. Right? Like, really, it's just, which is it? So we're going to have a tracer in our phones to track our move in case we get sick. Is that it? That's like having a cop on your tail every time you drink a beer, just in case you might drive. Like, what is it with this nanny state ethics here? Is there not any politicians in the Liberal caucus that can actually stand up and say, look, Justin, this is ridiculous? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Miss Raybould did that, and she got fired. Yeah, of course, I forgot. Now, how stupid of me. Still, right? It's a matter of ethics, folks. Are we going to tolerate this? Are we going to put up with this crap? Right? Is this where we see ourselves going in this democracy? No, you tell me. Here's that clip from Justin. It's from the Post-Millennial.
Around the world, there have been a number of different apps developed, Singapore, Australia, other places. One of the challenges that those apps have encountered is that it has to sit in the foreground of your phone and drains the battery. That's why the fix that Apple and Google are talking about bringing in the beginning of June will be extremely important as a base for an effective contact tracing or exposure notification app. We are working with a number of different partners on potential apps. We're working closely with Apple and Google on the update that they will be bringing forward. And it is our expectation that when the time comes for that to be released, we will be able to recommend strongly to Canadians a particular app that will help us manage the spread of COVID.
When there's other means to do so at a time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got ahead of myself there. But anyway, strongly recommend. You heard the words. Strongly recommend what they're going to say, what they're going to do, in case you get the bug, right? To feel if you got the bug. So basically, they're going to have insight on your phone and your personal data. Regardless of what you do on your telephone, regardless of what you look at or how many times you're on TikTok or whatever, Click Clock or whatever frickin' app you are, that is your business. Okay? It's blatantly, to me, an invasion of privacy. It has nothing to do with looking out for your safety. Okay? It has nothing to do with looking out for your personal interest. It has them looking out for their interest. Now, I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat here. I'm just trying to find some logic in these suggestions here. Okay? Every time we turn around, the government has said something stupid in regards to this pandemic. Has done something stupid in regards to the economy, has done something stupid in regards to peace and security, and especially done something in regards to the immigration issues that this country has been facing. So do you really trust that? Do you really trust what he just said? Let me know in the comments. Let me know via YouTube and Podbean, respectively, here. Or send me an email, crustybcanuck67@gmail.com, or on Facebook, or on Twitter. Let me know. Right. Carrying on, there's some more blurbs there, too, in regards to the House of Commons backing up Red China. Not Chinese people, Red China, Communist China. Little debate there. Part of that little blurb there earlier was from that, but I'll play that for you, too. And it's quite interesting. Right? Quite interesting, ladies and gentlemen, that they can't decide which is good or which is evil. Now, I'm going to take the old Cold War stance here and say this very carefully. And if any of those SJW commie kids that I've been debating with lately on my friends page there, if you're paying attention, okay, wait for it. Communism is evil. Looks great in paper, but that paper should be used for one thing: setting a fire in the name of democracy. Okay? So don't try to dress me up a shit sandwich, tell me that the communism has done this and communism has done that. We got a lot of history that proves otherwise. Here's a couple examples. Berlin Wall, Romanian Revolution, Tiananmen Square. Just to start. Okay? All right, here's that clip.
At a time in which we're debating an issue in regards to the House rules and trying to figure out where is the best place to ultimately land, in particular on the motion that's before us today, that the member is preventing us from debating because he's introduced this particular report.
The Honourable Member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Mr. Speaker, that is a bizarre and disgraceful intervention from that member. This is the motions rubric. This is when we put forward motions to concur in committee reports, which is exactly what I did according to the parliamentary rules, which the member should know better. But his insinuation that we shouldn't be talking about what is happening in Hong Kong right now, the urgent human rights and international law situation that is underway, I think Canadians want our parliament to be here and active and engaged with all of the issues, including the attempt by authoritarian powers all over the world to use and abuse the coronavirus as an excuse to abuse fundamental human rights. We see this happening in every corner of the world, Mr. Speaker. Because of COVID-19, authoritarian governments are using this moment to crack down on fundamental human rights and hope that we do not notice. We refuse to not notice. We will pay attention and we will hold them accountable, whether the government comes with us or not.
Well said, Mr. Garnet Genius. He's an MP through the Sherwood Park area, a Conservative MP, but well said in his part. And he made a valid point. In the last couple episodes, I've made reference to what the police are doing to people on the street, off the street, in parks. Toronto always up in arms because of people gathering in the park. Yet the mayor, John Tory, is walking around without a mask himself. Right? The whole thing of do as I say, not as I do. Really? Like, the world's on crack, ladies and gentlemen. You know? And why are we fearing China? Why are we fearing these clowns? Why are we fearing them? I don't fear the Chinese people. I just won't tolerate the communist power. Right? I won't tolerate any kind of totalitarian regime telling me what to do with my life. And I don't expect you to tolerate of the above mentioned as well. I expect you to go about your business and do your thing. Basic liberty, common sense. Okay? We're starting to see more and more people are recovering from this thing and more people are not getting ill. So why the fuck do we need an app? Ask yourself that question. You know, out of fear? So we can be tracked again? Maybe check our social credit, maybe check our social score on how well we are this and how well we are that and how we fit into the fucking status quo. Are you kidding me? Really? This is what the so-called majority of Canadians voted for? Well, is this a step to democratic socialism? Or totalitarianism? Of course, you know, Justin does admire China's basic dictatorship, because his old man was a commie back in the 30s and part of the 40s. Look it up. It's there. A sympathizer, per se. It's funny. All the so-called intellects that have come out with a big spoon in their fucking face, all of a sudden's a commie, so they can maintain their fucking wealth and control on people. And yet Justin and Pierre Elliott Trudeau did not create that wealth. They were born into it. So, put that in perspective. Anyway, here's something what Andrew Scheer had to say. Hang on.
It was the communist regime's oppression of freedom that led it to put pressure on the World Health Organization to repeat that government's talking points and to undermine the global response to the pandemic. We must never, countries around the world must never forget the corrosive effect the PRC's oppression of its own people has had on the entire world. Hundreds of thousands of people have died terrible deaths, oftentimes without the comfort of their loved ones at their bedside. And the actions of the PRC have made that worse. The global economy has imploded with hundreds of millions of people losing their jobs and their savings. No one, I hope, Madam Speaker, I hope no one ever expresses admiration for China's basic dictatorship ever again. And I trust that those who do have learned the gravity of their mistake.
You know, I thought it was a rock huh?
Yeah, let's speak for itself, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Even Andrew Scheer laughs at Justin's basic dictatorship statement. And part of the little dings there, I'm getting notifications. But you catch my drift, right? It's getting scarier, folks. So the title is basically Trace This, Middle Finger. It speaks for itself. No, I will not give up my cell phone so you can put whatever app you want into it to track me or my wife or my family or my friends. Now, I highly suggest, ladies and gentlemen, if any of my friends are listening to, don't do it. Don't put anything in your phone that gives the government any kind of advantage. Why? You know, I don't want to sound like some kind of tinfoil conspiracy nut here, but this is just ridiculous. To even suggest something like this for the sake of safety. Why don't they have these kind of apps for pedophiles and convicted rapists, for people that have committed heinous crimes and they serve their time, you know, and they have potential to offend again? Why isn't there applications that are going to help police officers find missing kids other than the Amber Alerts? Which is great, don't get me wrong. But what the hell is going on here, folks? Really, are we going to stand by and let this happen? Are we? Think about it. Anyway, here's a word from my sponsor.
Rampage Coffee Company. Extremely delicious coffee. Roasted with purpose, then delivered to your favorite mug. Our delicious coffee comes packed with enough attitude to punch you out of your morning slippers. Here at Rampage Coffee Company, we provide you superior quality coffee that is delivered to the doorsteps of any Canadian who is ready to take their coffee game to the next level. We hand select quality beans to be a small batch roasted by our head roaster, which ensures unparalleled attention to details and amazing quality in all our coffee. Cheers to a freshly roasted kick-ass coffee. Rampage Coffee Company.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Use the code 15%. Correction. I can't speak English today. Use the code CRUSTYCANUCK and you get 15% off their sampler pack. That's at Rampage Coffee Company. Good people out of Saskatoon, hardworking folk, you know. Give them a hand, buy their product today. Wife and I, we've tried their coffee. It is fantastic. And, you know, carrying on with the whole contact tracing. Now, think about how that sounds. Contact tracing. Tracking, basically. You know? So they want to put something in your cell phone. What else do they want to put into you? A microchip? Oh, of course. There's always been theory the past 20 years putting microchips in people for tracking missing folks and what have you. Will that be the next excuse too? Everybody's got to get a tracking chip because of the plight of missing kids in this country. The plight of missing persons. So everybody should get a tracking chip put into them. Check your movements, what you're doing, who you're talking to, who you're seeing, what you're saying, what you're feeling, you know. Minding your own bloody business, caring about your business, and yet government has an insight and has the hand in it. Why? Think about it, folks. So, when they start emphasizing that we have to have these trackers, no. Say a blatant frickin' no. Not a chance. Not a chance, sweetheart. Not a chance, sunshine. No thanks, potato. I don't want your fried goods. Right? It's too bad the powers that be don't have the balls to call an election. Because even though the half-assed polls say, oh, the Liberals are ahead. Yeah, because they're actually taking some initiative. Yeah, well, as far as I'm concerned, folks, it's a little too late. Way too little too late. And isn't that just historically accurate of the Liberal Party since 1968? Too little too late when something happens. Right? You know, they're too worried about the raises. Too worried about their livelihoods. Right? And as I mentioned earlier in the show, every political party is applying for their share of the CERB to look after their volunteers or the people that work with said parties. Isn't that just fucking dandy? Why don't they take part of their pay raises and contribute to the workers that work for the party? That's Conservatives, Liberals, NDP, Greens, and Les Blocs, all the parties represented. All 338 people that sit in that House of Commons that haven't gone to work yet properly, 3 or 4 days of the week, sure. But of course, our beloved leader doesn't want to do it, right? Out of safety. Yet his track record's proven he just doesn't want to go to work anymore because he's above that. He's above the law. He's above common sense. He just doesn't goddamn care. And every day we're seeing it from our other politicians too. Now, I will say there's a healthy opposition in Parliament. That's how our parliamentary system works. That's always a good thing. And it doesn't matter where your loyalties lie, ladies and gentlemen. But things aren't getting done, We've all been lied to. We all know that the gist is up, right? Now they're caring about the seniors. They had all this time to care about the seniors, right? They realize the majority of this pandemic is affecting the seniors the hardest, right? People who have worked all their lives, who have contributed all their lives, who are made to pay taxes on their pensions. And now they're being made to pay taxes on this handout. Ooh, $500. Big spender, Justin. Right? See, I suggest that all these politicians give up about $20,000 of their raise to put it back into the country. That would be the sensible thing to do. And stop worrying about helping the third world nations that are in strife. Right? And start looking after our own. That's not racist to say. Right? Let's stop worrying about how many people are still using Roxham Road and want benefits and to be treated. Let's start worrying about our own. It's not racist to say that, ladies and gentlemen. I support immigration in this country, but I also support common sense too. Right? If we don't have a pot to piss in, then what are we doing giving shit away? Hey? Common sense. Anyway, tell me what you think. CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. Or you can find me on the Facebook under Crusty Canuck, Instagram, Canuck Crusty. And you can find me on Twitter too. Leave a comment on YouTube and Podbean respectively. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and ring that little bell for notifications when new content comes up. And if you do feel like donating, please do contribute if you can. $1, $2, $3, $4, $5. If you commit $5 or more a month to any of my subscription pages, you will get a free t-shirt of your choice from my Teespring line. And I'll leave links in the description there too. But keep in mind though too, folks, I also try to give as much as I can to the Veterans Association Food Bank out of Calgary, Alberta. They are a great charity for veterans such as myself and for other people in my circle. They've helped out veterans by building walkways and segways for wheelchairs. They've assisted the community, and they've gave some vets a real good boost in a time of need. So check out the Veterans Association Food Bank. I'll leave a link in the description there as well. You give them $25, and they'll give you a tax receipt. So this tax time, you'll get some benefit too. You help them, and they help you. Right? Anyhow, carrying on. It's just hard to figure out because I'm a grown-ass man. I've done my share of shit for king and country. And now we're seeing this on full scale. And it's scary, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is really effing scary. Now, they want to track your phones. Just in case you might get the BeerBug. Or in case you do have it and you might be spreading it. So there's that potential there, maybe. Nothing factual, just a possibility. Like I said before, I drink a beer. That'd be like having a cop watch my every move. I drink a beer just in case I decide to drive. Like, come on. Like, really? I'm surprised there isn't an outrage to this. Now, I'll leave a link to Michelle Rempel's work where she spoke out against it. And you can decide. But like I say, every time I make a statement, I try to back it up with something. Right? I'm not a journalist. I'm not a writer, but I'm a free thinker and I am a commentator and I will comment on this big time. This is not the Canada I fought for. This is not the Canada my brothers and sisters fought for. Okay? This isn't. This isn't the Canada that my grandparents fought for during World War II. Think about it, folks. Right? My American listeners out there, I'm sure you're getting all this rhetoric too in regards to who can go where and have a barbecue, who can shoot, who can't do this, social distancing, coppers going overboard, some coppers standing up and saying, hey, this is not constitutional. It's a shit show all over North America and in other parts of the world. And as you heard on those live feeds that I gave you, Garnet Genius talking about what's going on in China and with other countries, and Andrew Scheer weighing in respectively too. So what do? Like I said in my last episode, folks, we have to get out there, start talking, start asking the hard questions, get people on the spot, get people motivated, and get out there. Now, I'm in a position right now where financially I cannot always just jump up and go. I want to, but for those of you who can right now, let's get the ball going here. Let's get the ball fucking rolling, okay? I really think our democracy is in dire question right now, and in dire needs. Dire Straits, not the band, but the statement. And it's, fuck. I know, it's scary, you know? We should be looking after the next generation coming up. And yet we're not, because we're so worried about who's social distancing or who's not doing this or not doing that. And all the snitches out there, blow it out your ass. I ain't got time for you. Okay? You're not going to tell me where to walk. You're not going to tell me what to say, what to think, or what to do. Okay? That I'm getting really tired of, too. People looking at you because you're not wearing a mask. It's like, bugger off. You know? Or you're not walking where the arrows indicate. Like, what's going to happen? Am I going to breathe on somebody at the wrong angle and they're going to get sick? Is that the logic? No, of course not. We're better than that, folks. We are. We got to start showing it. We got to start setting a better example. And we better start sticking to these leaders, too. Tell them enough is enough. Anyway, there's going to be a rally July 1st at Ottawa. It's a yellow vest. It's a patriot thing. If you can make it out there, please do. Starts at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So it's other patriots get out there and basically stand our ground if we can. You know? In fact, we should be standing our ground every bloody day. We'll do what we can. But this platform helps me get my word out, and I hope you share this around and comment and like and all that good stuff too. And start your own movement. You know? Start thinking for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we have to do. Right? This democracy is worth fighting for as far as I'm concerned. You know, every democracy is worth fighting for. And I honestly believe it's being compromised every goddamn day. We got to stand up to it. All right? We got to stand up for our gun values. We got to stand up for our gun rights, not just our values. Got to stand up for safety, real safety, honest to God safety, not safety from bad words, safety from assault, safety from crime, safety from tyranny, safety from bullshit and lackluster politics and terrible effing leadership. All right? Time is now. You know, it's no longer the 1960s where we do the kumbaya, love each other. Yeah, we can still love and unite. But it's time to take the ground and fight. All right? Stand up for what's right in this country. Stand up for all Canadians, all colors, all creeds, all genders. All right? Stand up for the people. Working class, well-to-do class, ne'er-to-do class, all classes of society. We all know democracy is not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than totalitarianism and a hell of a lot better than the Communist Manifesto they're trying to throw down on our throats today. Anyhow, folks, that's my spiel for today on the contact tracing boondoggle. If you like what you hear and see, please, by all means, click like, subscribe, share around, give me a comment or two or a few on either Podbean or here in the YouTube. And let's fight. Let's get this shit on the go here. Let's get rid of this status quo mentality and stand our ground for what is right in Canada. And what is right in any democracy for that matter, too. Anyhow, I've been Crusty Canuck. And enjoy the weather today. I'm going to plan to do some gardening later on. I've got all these carrot seeds and bean seeds, so I'll have some nice veggies come the fall. And I hope you do the same thing, too. Get outside, move around, walk around, do things. Chat with your neighbors, chat with your kids, play with your loved ones. But stand by them. These times are getting tougher, so we're going to have to start standing by each other. Neighbor with neighbor, friend with friend, etc., etc. Right? So as I said, I'm Crusty Canuck, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. And be good to your friends and yourselves and your loved ones. And remember, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. There is no racial bigotry here.